Good morning. Thank you very much for joining us for this session. Yesterday, hopefully you all saw Carla Cook demonstrate the creative management platform that the Adobe Advertising Cloud has recently released on stage. What we wanted to do today was dig into a little bit of the behind the scenes, why we built a platform, why we think it's really important for creative to be linked directly to an activation platform, and so you're able to activate audiences at scale and deliver them a seamless message as well. So today, what we're going to do is we're really excited about the content we're going to have and share. We have Justin Merickel, who's the Vice President of Adobe Advertising Cloud, here to talk to you about the vision, the rationale of why we built the software and where we're taking it, and also go through a case study of a brand, MGM, who's using it today to help them to drive visitation to Las Vegas, and then also activate inside of their resorts and ensure that experience that MGM is delivering you is absolutely seamless. We're then going to have a panel, which will be hosted by Matt Bruce, who is the General Manager of Adobe Advertising Cloud for APAC. And we're going to have a number of different guests on stage, really helping us to be able to show different perspectives of what this is. We'll have Ed Brooks from SATC, Shani from Seven West Media, Pippa, AdNews editor, and then also Pynta, who comes from a research company called Neuro-Insight, to give a very different perspective of the power of creative in advertising. So I'd like to welcome Justin Merickel on stage.
Thanks, Phil. Thanks everybody for coming. This is my favorite session because I think I've spent the last 20x years talking about data on stage, and now I get to talk about creative. And I think it's something as an industry we haven't spent enough time talking about. And I wanted to start here because the reality is when I was a kid, I didn't have any aspirations to be a marketer or a data-driven marketer. I didn't have any aspirations of being a product manager. None of the roles that I actually fill today. If you look on the left, my creativity was started early. Cellist with the wristband, because you get sweaty if you really get into the cello, so the wristband helped. And then I kind of peaked early. There was a McDonald's coloring contest. And at McDonald's, there's a character named Grimace, purple dinosaur. I colored the purple dinosaur pink with green polka dots, and I won the coloring contest. But that was kind of the peak. That was the peak for me creatively. Because then I went to college, and this was my degree at college. And if you look at it, it's honing logical thinking and statistical reasoning skills, rigorous argument. These are not the elements of creativity, so I was drilled into the mathematics and science. And I think it's kind of representative of where we've gone with digital marketing today. So we're at a state where we talk about real-time bidding, and we talk about programmatic, and we talk about data-driven, and we've lost some of the creativity, especially in digital, and we need to bring that back because creativity matters. And at Adobe, we feel like we're in a place to really help the industry, help our partners, help our customers, drive creativity back into digital advertising. And it's really connecting both the data that we all have grown to love in this space with that creativity. So we're really starting to connect that left brain and right brain back together. And I think the reality is, if we all are honest with ourselves, what we're doing creatively in digital advertising is hurting us. It's not helping our brands. If we look at the quality of the creative we're putting out there, we have a lot of room to improve. So that's what I want to talk about today. I'm going to start with the implications of what we've lost in creativity in digital. I then want to go through a case study of MGM, who we've been working with over the past year and a half as we've gone through the development process of the product that you saw earlier. Then we'll come back and we'll bring Matt, awesome panel, on stage, and they'll go through some discussions around it. So when we start, I think it's helpful to think about what is creative, and really what I think resonates with me is the notion of originality. That in order to be creative, it has to be original. It has to be original thinking that resonates with us. And if we do that, it's not just a nice to have in the market. So this is a study by McKinsey, and what McKinsey was looking at is whether or not creative awards, now we all think of Cannes as the ultimate advertising boondoggle. There are some other value equations that we can look at with Cannes. So if you win an award at Cannes, and those companies that have won an award, is there actually a correlation between that company's financial performance and revenue growth? And what you see is those companies that do win those awards actually have the fastest revenue growth. So Cannes is a little bit more than just the ultimate advertising, although it's a great advertising boondoggle. If you do get the chance to go, you should. But those awards matter. Creativity matters. It actually creates business growth and business performance. It's intuitive, but it's nice to see it in data as well. But in digital, I think what's happened, and I pulled this quote from Andrew Anker, who Hotwired was the original creator of the banner ad. And I think his statement resonates with all of us because we have lost, I think, some of that creativity as we've over-optimized for direct response. And if you look back in history, I don't think we've come that far. So in 1994, the first banner ad, AT&T up on Hotwired. And then you look at the right, I hope there are none of these brands in here because I don't mean to offend, but we're basically using the same ad. You can't tell that there's any differentiation in the brand. Looks a lot like that old AT&T bat. We haven't come very far, and I think we have a lot of room to improve. And it's not just us at Adobe. It's not just us in the room. The biggest marketers in the world, like Mark Pritchard, are asking us to improve, to stop delivering annoying ads, make that experience better. And if you look at the creatives in the market, they want to do that as well. So if you look at this quote from the Chief Creative Officer of Havas, he says, if you've never clicked on a banner ad, you've never clicked on a banner ad because you have an IQ, and that's our main advertising vehicle. It's fucked up as an industry. That's not why I got into this. Creatives want to put better creative product out in the market as well. So I think we have an opportunity to partner to make a difference. And what's the impact? If you look at the impact, and we're all seeing these stats today, consumers want personalized ads. They want an improved advertising experience. They don't think they're getting it, and they're leaving. They're blocking ads. They're not as receptive. They're losing trust in us as media providers and advertisers. We're losing loyalty. What we're doing in digital, in creative, simply isn't working, and we're seeing consumers vote with their feet. A lot of room to improve. So what prevents us from improving? What's the barrier? I think part of it is the pressure on marketers to deliver that return on investment. But we also, I think, are enamored with this original idea, and I wanted to show a video, which I cut out of a TED Talk, which I think is about the notion of originality and how do we get to original ideas. So bear with me while this video plays. Hopefully it plays on the click in PowerPoint.
If you look across fields, the greatest originals are the ones who fail the most, because they're the ones who try the most. Take classical composers, the best of the best. Why do some of them get more pages in encyclopedias than others, and also have their compositions re-recorded more times? One of the best predictors is the sheer volume of compositions that they generate. The more output you churn out, the more variety you get, and the better your chances of stumbling on something truly original. Even the three icons of classical music, Bach, Beethoven, Mozart, had to generate hundreds and hundreds of compositions to come up with a much smaller number of masterpieces. Now, you may be wondering, how did this guy become great without doing a whole lot? I don't know how Wagner pulled that off. But for most of us, if we want to be more original, we have to generate more ideas.
So what I liked about this particular speech was it's bringing to light the notion that we need volume and we need a way to get that quickly into market. And I think as marketers and probably agency partners, we're still stuck in a relatively antiquated production process where we simply can't get enough ideas, we can't be reactive enough, and we struggle, I think, to get the velocity into market that we want. And what was interesting to me is we think of those great composers as putting out these masterpieces that we listen to, but yet they had lots of compositions that simply didn't work, right? It was the volume that was related to that originality. And I like that notion, because I think we need to do more of that in digital. We need to put more out in order to find the stuff that really resonates and really works. And I think today we're in a bit of a battle where the marketer is beholden to the business to improve results, typically improving results with less resource. I think that's the state that generally marketing and organizations at the enterprise are in. And on the other side, we've got the designer who frankly is crying when the marketer brings them a requirement set to get a digital campaign out. That's great, you had a good idea, now I need that for 20 products in 7 different geos with 100 different ad sizes, go produce that. And they start crying because that's not the work that gets them excited to come to work every day and deliver. So we're in this kind of negative cycle where we've got bad process, we've got bad odd quality, in part because of the bad process. We have a lot of wasted cycles and time, and ultimately, we're not delivering a good customer experience. Nobody's happy today with the creative that's out there. The marketer isn't happy, the designer is very unhappy, and the consumer ultimately is voting by blocking our ads. All right, so that's the setup. That's what Adobe is looking to help solve. That's the journey that we're on from a product development standpoint, how we're tying more closely into the Creative Cloud, where all these designers are comfortable working in Photoshop and Illustrator. We're going to show you some of that product in a bit. But I think if we take a step back and look at those kind of 3 principles that I talked about, one is we're just over-indexed on direct response. We've got to bring creativity back to digital advertising. We can't just use the same template and populate that template with offers. It has to be more than that. In order to do that, we have to figure out ways to increase our velocity. We can't get stuck in these negative production cycles that are antiquated. And we need to connect the creative and the marketer. And this is what Adobe's trying to do, and you'll see a bit of where we're headed on this direction is if we get the creative and the marketer more connected with technology, we can improve that customer experience, we can improve the content velocity. I think we can create better ads. So let's talk about putting this into practice. So we've been on a journey with MGM Resorts. I don't know if everybody's familiar with MGM. They have lots of resorts in Vegas and throughout the world, but they're more than just a hotel company. They're in the entertainment business. So as you come in, they want you to go to restaurants, they want you to go to concerts. So they're much more than just a hotel company, they're really an entertainment company. And you may know them from their brands in Vegas like Bellagio and Aria. If you have gone, you may have forgotten that that's where you stayed, but now you remember that that is where you stayed. And they've done a fantastic job of establishing a high-quality brand. So I'll just kind of show you a bit of what's in the MGM brand. Now we all want to go to Vegas, so there are probably, I don't know, are there direct flights from Sydney? Probably. There are from most places. So MGM was on a journey with us. They wanted to bring this type of brand and improve the quality and speed in what they were delivering to the market. In working with Adobe, they kind of segment out what they're doing with us between foundation and personalization. So in the foundation, they're looking at analytics as where all of that rich data resides. They want to put that to use. They have Experience Manager where they're delivering that in terms of web content and web personalization, as well as Target, where they're putting that to use in terms of optimizing that experience as people land. And what we've connected that to is where we're driving personalization, not on own properties, but outside. So Audience Manager is key to that in terms of syndicating that ability from a segmentation standpoint out, and then connecting that to the DSP and search, as well as to our creative product. And that's the newest journey that they've been with us. And so what they wanted to do was really figure out a way to drive that personalization experience. Think of them as getting people to Las Vegas to stay in a property. They also wanted to then, if you're coming to stay, they needed to deliver that entertainment option, cater that, and personalize that based on the segments that you're in. They have multiple properties. Those properties may be for people with lower income and higher income. So they have all this opportunity to really personalize that experience as they're reaching out with advertising in digital. And so that's what they wanted us to help them with and increase that velocity. They felt like those production cycles were much too slow. So just a quick view into how we brought that about. One is we started to do some basic targeted offers. So whether it was time since somebody come and executed a search, to delivering rates to the right segments. So we started to really use data from their website, data from their offers, and start to dynamically put that content into ads. We also started to make sure that we were catering the imagery. So the same set of properties like Bellagio, we could actually look at, well, are you a person who needs a basic room? Are you a person who needs a suite based on where you sit into their customer segmentation? So we actually started to cater the imagery and offers for around the Bellagio based on the customer segments that you fit into. And now we're getting much more advanced, and we're actually looking at what type of entertainment offers might be right for you. Are you coming and you're a woman going on a girls trip to Vegas, and you might need spa offers? You're probably not as interested in boxing, whereas maybe if you're a man coming to party for the weekend, maybe the boxing offer, right? So they're starting to cater those entertainment options as well based on that segmentation after you've actually booked. So what were the results? The results have been really positive as we've gone through this journey with MGM. I think there's still a lot more we can do. We've standardized the way that they're applying creative. We've streamlined the frequency of jobs so that they can actually get more done quickly. One thing MGM suffered from was, I've got an offer, it's coming on Friday, I need to update all my creative, I simply can't do it, had to submit a brief. The production team got back to me, said it would be a week, and I need that a lot quicker. So we streamlined a lot of that production process, expedited the time to market, increased a lot of their flexibility, and I think this is the payoff if you get into this type of journey with us on creative, is the lift on engagement from actually personalizing creative and the impact that it can have on the revenue generation from the marketing that you have out there. So we feel really good about where we sit on this journey. We want to partner with more organizations to be smarter about how we deliver creative. We'll show you how that's manifesting itself in products. So we are delivering product to help deliver on this vision. We'll walk you through in a little bit more detail than you may have seen on main stage, how we're doing that, how we're connecting segmentation to creative, how we're connecting the creative professional to the marketing professional. Those are our goals. I think it's a big opportunity, and hopefully together we can really work on getting it right. So again, thank you for the time. That's the setup. Now I want to bring my colleague, Matt Bruce, who's going to have a live stage rich panel for you all. So thank you very much. Appreciate you coming.
Thanks, man. That's awesome, man. Thank you. Come on up, panelists. Wasn't that great? G'day, everybody. My name's Matt Bruce, and welcome to the Adobe Advertising Cloud Creative Live Show. Round of applause. I don't know how many of you guys have thought about it, but you're actually in a live studio audience today because just like the advertising cloud, we're going out on all formats live, online streaming, so on video, and I'm sure we're going to push out a display campaign after this to pick up some video streaming on the recording. So I'm joined by a fantastic panel here today, and I'd like to start. Sorry, there's a quick preview there. I'd like to start by introducing Shani. Why don't you tell us one sentence about yourself and what you do?
Hi, I'm Shani. I'm head of graphics and design at Channel 7 from Brisbane. I'm obsessed with my 2 miniature sausage dogs, Cupcake and Indiana Bones, and I love anything to do with reality television. So if anyone wants to talk about the Honey Badger's debut to the Bachelor Mansion last night, come see me later.
Very good. Classic creative, nothing about your actual job. Thanks, Sean. Sorry.
Said I do graphics.
Sorry about that. I'll go easier on you, Pippa. Why don't you tell us about yourself?
I'm the editor of AdNews. I'm originally from the UK, but I've been in Australia for nearly 5 years. Love advertising. I've obviously written about it for the last 4 years, but I've never actually seen Mad Men, so I need to do that.
It would be good to watch it. And Ed, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Ed. I'm the Senior Manager Digital Marketing at the SATC, and my passion is data-driven advertising.
Awesome. And have you decided whether you're Russell or Todd? I don't know if you guys watch Grew and Transfer.
I think you're Will Anderson for sure.
Oh, maybe like Fat Will?
Where's
I
the
think
tie?
I'll be Russell if that's all right.
You're Russell. What about Peter? Would you like to introduce yourself?
Thank you, Will. Thank you. It's Pynta, Neuro-Insight. I guess in summary, I'm just super curious, and therefore super curious about how ads work, which is, I guess, why we're here. Is that true, Will?
Fat Will, please.
No. Thank you, mate.
Thanks, guys. So, as I mentioned, we're here to talk about Advertising Cloud Creative, and we're going out live on video, and I also bought some outdoor space because we're all about making advertising great at the Advertising Cloud.
And I had nothing to do with that creative. I just want to make that clear.
Maybe you could teach me some more about Photoshop
Yeah, maybe.
later. No, this one is actually in the advertising industry heartland of Surrey Hills. And of course, have we got anyone here from Victoria today? Anyone? Oh, there's a few. Oh, great. Always love to have my friends here from Victoria, so I didn't want to leave you guys out. I know in Richmond, in Melbourne, that's an industry hotspot, so I've got one here by the road as well. And also my friend and colleague in the Advertising Cloud, Phil Cowlishaw. He's also consumed by a passion for advertising, and he put down some of his hard-earned for this billboard in his beloved Inner West. I think this one you'll see on Enmore Road. So let's make advertising great, people. So now that we have nicely showcased some of the oldest form of advertising, why don't we bring ourselves into 2018 and look at some of the best modern advertising in Australia right now? Pippa, you're the editor of AdNews and you're also a consumer. What makes advertising great for you?
Ultimately, I guess emotional ads, I think, for me personally, draw me in. Like the Qantas Feels Like Home is a bit of a cheesy one, but it brings me in because I think about flying back to the UK. And I think it's emotional or funny for me. I just think there's a lot of ads that are quite boring.
Yep.
And we want that emotion, something that we want to share and talk about. Just pulling on the emotional strings. Really.
Yeah. May have shed a tear once or twice watching that Qantas ad myself. May have. What about you, Shani? What makes advertising great for you?
I think we're just in such an exciting time technology-wise that it is possible to change your idea that you want to do in your head, you can make it reality. And there's so many exciting avenues that you can take that with.
Awesome. Ed, I know this is a real passion point for you. Are we able to look at some of the latest South Australian Tourism Commission creative that you've worked on, and maybe while we're doing that, you could tell us about your philosophy and approach?
Sure. So once we roll the creative, there we go. So the issue is we don't own anything that we can sell at the SATC. So our key KPI is actually qualified leads generated to tourism operators. But what we do own is our digital data. So we can use that to build audience segments and serve more customised content to people. By doing this, we've actually seen over the last year a 60% improvement in cost per lead to tourism operators. So what that means, in other words, is with the same outlay in digital media spend, we've actually increased the volume of leads threefold domestically year on year.
Wow, that really is phenomenal. Like a 60% return on advertising and 3 times the lead in just 1 year. It sounds like you're using quite a sophisticated approach to achieve this.
Yeah, I mean, we've been using AdCloud for about a year. We wanted to see what works and tested lots of different sort of targeting strategies and personalisation strategies. And what we found is the more relevant the content being served is, then the higher the chance there is of getting clicks. One thing we found is that retargeting with generic brand ads is actually not as effective as using the same ads in prospecting campaigns in a contextual environment. So the retargeting that we use actually gets more and more effective the more personalised the message is.
Awesome. And can you tell us specifically about some of the ads we're looking at right now?
Sure. So some of these ones are MasterChef ones, so our food and drink ones that we've done recently with our collaboration with MasterChef. A lot of them are used to retarget people based on the pages they've visited on SA.com. And one interesting trial we ran was individual product retargeting based on some unruly videos that we did with News Corp as part of a content partnership. One that we might have seen earlier was focused on Mega Adventure Park. So in that case, we served a specific product-related ad to people that had seen a video about that park. And we found that had really, really good click-through rates. But the best one that we saw is the one on the next page after this, which is the Explorer's Way, which is our outback driving sort of road trip. And so we retargeted people that had visited that specific page with an ad for that road trip, and it performed the best. So that campaign performed the best, but the problem is scale. Like, there wasn't a great volume of people visiting that page in the first place.
Yeah, sure. I think that's a challenge. That's a challenge for a lot of us in the industry about how you scale. But just looking at these fantastic images from South Australia, they make me want to book a trip. And Pippa, I think you went there recently. Is it really like this in South Australia?
It is. I didn't actually. Yeah, I was doing a lot more of the wine drinking, not so much of the outback.
And hopefully not together. The driving.
Not yet. But now I've seen the ad. It's just reminding me of what great time I had, and I should go back.
Awesome. Well, I know in Justin's presentation he talked about Cannes, and it raised a couple of questions for me. First of all, and maybe this is your area of expertise, Pippa, is it Cannes or is it Cannes?
Well, I say can, but a lot of the Aussies say can't. So
either way is good?
I think either's fine.
And secondly, is a boondoggle the same as a junket?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I think it is.
I don't know.
Anyway, what I've got here is an ad which has actually won the Cannes Gold Lion. So why don't we take a look at that, and then we'll have a little bit of a chat about it.
Yeah, just your typical Super Bowl car ad. Right? Or a hilarious beer ad. Or whatever ad this is. Whatever. But it's a Tide ad.
What?
It's a Tide ad.
What makes it a Tide ad?
There are no stains. Look at those clean clothes. What else would this be an ad for?
Diamonds?
A gift that lasts for a
Tide.
It's time for a cold refresher.
Tide ad.
Fall into the sleep of
No. Tide. No. Tide ad.
extreme.
No. Tide. Tide!
Meet the all-new.
No, it's a Tide ad. Tide.
So, does this make every Super Bowl ad a Tide ad? I think it does. Watch and see.
Hey, Peter, you're an expert in Neuro-Insight. Can you tell us a bit about what goes on in our heads when we see these ads?
Well, I'll give it a go, mate. Yes. Obviously Tide is well known around the world. Like, they're an iconic advertiser that spend big bucks. Like that's a 60-second ad. Buying 60 seconds in the Super Bowl. I'm not sure how much that would cost, but you hear
It's $5 million for 30 seconds.
5 million. So 10 million US. And that may have been seen twice in the Super Bowl. So there's an ad. Like, we're all trying to, I guess the theme we're trying to get here to is that balance between exposure and experience, okay? Whether it's on television, whether it's in digital, whether it's in that ecosystem, and you've heard from Matt and how we're all trying to tune the creative. So an iconic advertiser that spent big bucks, Pippa, on buying that ad, which was tailored completely for the Super Bowl. You probably all remember a certain scene out of that. I think you said you remember the beer scene.
I was very upset when the beer got spilled.
So that's a classic ad to do with like little vignettes, little packets. And what we're going to do is take a look at how the average consumer processes that ad. The brain actually never stores anything like a videotape. Just because we make a 60-second ad and spend millions and millions of dollars on it and put it to air, or a great med rec online or whatever, the brain only stores packets of information. And if there's one thing that we'd like to convey is that how can we take these learnings and tune and get that balance between exposure and experience even better? Because we're all seeing that when creative hits the mark, there's a certain chemistry that really, really sparks. And that's where you get that 60% year-on-year improvement, or the 30% we saw earlier.
Yep.
That magic. Now, that magic's very hard to measure and to ask someone. So we don't let the mouth lie. We just let the brain tell the truth, basically. Yep. So what we're about to see here is that analysis. So basically, before we hit the play button, okay. Just a quick setup. So what you're about to see here is a red and the blue line. So the red line is basically left brain, the blue line is right brain. But this is all about memory encoding. And if an ad is going to work anywhere, it must be committed to memory, especially the message and the brand, which we all kind of know and appreciate. What you're about to see there is on the left is a scale from 0 to 1. 0.5 is the average. Those two dotted lines horizontally is kind of like the low water mark, 0.3, high water mark, 0.7. That 0.7 is a really important benchmark for us. We want to see message and branding hit 0.7 or higher on those hills as you see them. So this is how that ad was processed in context from a brain's point of view, if you like, and we can unpack that later. Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, just your typical Super Bowl car ad. Right?
Or a hilarious beer ad.
Or whatever ad this is.
Whatever.
But it's a Tide ad.
What? It's a Tide ad.
What makes it a Tide ad?
There are no stains. Look at those clean clothes. What else would this be an ad for?
Diamonds?
A gift that lasts for a...
No. Tide.
It's time for a cold refresh.
Tide ad.
Fall into the sleep of
No. Tide. No. Tide ad.
Extreme.
No. Tide.
Tide! Meet the all-new.
No, it's a Tide ad. Tide.
So, does this make every Super Bowl ad a Tide ad? I think it does. Watch and see.
Wow.
So shall we unpack that a bit?
I think we'd like to.
Guys, have you ever heard the saying or said it yourself, great ad, but who was it for? We've all been to dinner parties and said that. You know, great beer ad, Tui's, VB, I don't know. What you're just seeing there is exactly why that happens. That potentially is a great ad, but who's it for? Now, fortunately, I know everyone's going to put their hands up and go, yeah, but Tide was mentioned 100 times in the ad, so that kind of may have saved it from a verbal or an audible branding point of view, but the visual branding is really, really crucial. And ads that don't do any branding and only brand at the end and have that pattern is a great ad, but who's it for? It's actually worse than not advertising at all, because you're probably doing the competition a free kick. But the point here is that that's 60 seconds, Pip, $10 million spent on airtime to get that ad to air in context, beautifully crafted ad, and actually the shape of it's wonderful. That's actually a great ad in terms of the engineering of the ad, if only it branded at 0.7 or higher at the very end. Yeah. So the moral of the story here is that even though that was crafted to be in context, it still could have improved its branding dramatically. And the point is a couple of points. For anything to work creatively and to get that balance between exposure and experience right, it must be committed to memory, or it's got no hope of working. No hope at all. By definition, it hasn't gone in, right?
Makes sense.
So, and the second point is I think we need to really respect the fact that the brain is very, it's automatic, and it determines what's relevant on the fly. We're here kind of post-reflecting on what's relevant and what's not. It does it in the moment, and it's just so brittle. It's just so brittle and so important to be relevant and on mark and I guess sort of leverage the context and get that balance between exposure an experience right. And when I say experience, I mean who wants to be bombarded 10 times by the same ad just because technology allows you to do it.
Yep.
And I think that's why we're here, is
Absolutely.
to debate that and to thrash it out. So that's our view on life, mate. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And I know, Pippa, you guys wrote about this in AdNews, and you write about the effectiveness of ads quite a bit. What's your take? Do these ads actually work?
I mean, well, personally for me as a consumer, it works. I
Yeah.
think it's funny. It's, you know, at the time that was out, it's obviously got the chat from Stranger Things, and that was a big thing at the time. So there was that element, and I think it's humorous and it's great. And I think if they've got that much money to spend on a Super Bowl ad, they must be doing something right.
And is there anything they could do with these ads that would make them, you said they work for you, but could they do something that would make them resonate even more with you?
I mean, I guess it's great the first time, you know, maybe the second time if you're going to share it with someone or share with friends, I guess if you keep seeing it again and again, it will lose its effectiveness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it's an interesting one. What about you? What about you, Shani? Do you like these ads?
I thought it was a beautifully shot ad. It looked really good. The perfume part was my favourite.
Yeah, I also noticed during the ad, Peter, just when the muscle man came on at about that 45-second mark, the red line and the blue line
really peaked.
Yeah, they kind of moved apart. Did you notice that?
I thought it just went up.
It just went up. Yeah.
Can you talk about why that is?
Yeah, cool. So that's basically what we call the Neurostate processing of that ad. So the Neurostate is basically the state in which the ad has you processing that, and it's basically, we actually measure that, and in fact what you've just seen there is the measurement of the experience itself, you know, the human experience, without asking a question. So yeah, creatively, and like the storytelling, the art of storytelling, the art of creativity, the art of using so many elements in that has you using the balance of your left and your right brain. So where the red line pops up over the blue, you are more left brain biased. Now here's the point, mate. That's how that ad is processed intrinsically. What we also know is that the surrounding environment has a huge influence over the state in which that ad is processed as well, and that's why we're all big advocates of using context and actually blending creativity, and Ed's got plenty of examples of that, to be appropriate from a frequency point of view, but also to leverage the surrounding environment, because the surrounding environment itself can account for 25% of the effectiveness of that ad, just itself. So if you're spending $10 million, you want to leverage that big time. But you'd want to leverage that in any campaign. So yeah, the theory is to do that on scale and on mass as much as possible, and to empower the ecosystem. Yeah. But that's the left and the right brain working there, mate.
Yeah, that's interesting, and it's it's got me thinking. This is a really big brand ad. I mean, it's a Super Bowl ad. They're the biggest brand ads you get, right? But Ed, you work for a tourism organisation, and traditionally tourism associations have done big brand campaigns. How are you thinking about that now, and what are you doing at South Australian Tourism Commission?
Well, big brand advertising is still absolutely crucial for filling the sales funnel, and that's absolutely here to stay in tourism advertising. And without big brand advertising, we wouldn't be filling the top of that sales funnel, and the performance media that my team manages just would not have the same effect. But the key benefit for performance media from our point of view, from a government-funded organisation, is that we can demonstrate results, so that we can clearly say, give us this much money and we'll demonstrate, we will give you this many leads to tourism businesses, for example.
Yeah. Sounds like it's quite a new approach for tourism.
Yeah, I think we certainly haven't been doing it in the past. I mean, when I come to Sydney and talk to cabbies and stuff, they still remember the big Barossa ad with Nick Cave from years ago. Like brand advertising absolutely works in tourism. Yeah. But you still need to have that direct response aspect at the bottom.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, that's a good question. Shani, you work for a TV network. What? This is fresh and straight off the cuff. How much of an issue are the Don Draper era metrics of reach and frequency these days?
There's pretty annoying, actually. It's very frustrating from a design side of things to have a brief to do a really generalised ad for a very big demographic that might be watching. So it just makes it really hard to not be able to personally target anything. But on the other side of it, watching it, if that ad didn't resonate with you the first time, it gets worse and worse and worse the other 10 times while you're waiting for The Bachelor to come back on.
Right. Was it good? It sounds like I need to catch up on The Bachelor.
I really think the honey badger's so much cuter than I thought he was going to be. He's so sweet. Pippa knows what I'm talking about.
He's all right.
Yeah. He works out too, right?
He didn't take his shirt off yet, I don't think.
So Peter, like, do you have a view on this from a neuroscience point of view? Like, is it good for me to see the same ad 10 times while I'm catching up on a show on a TV network app?
I think we all violently agree that it's not. We're with you. Look, okay, so what we have done from time to time is basically look at the impact over sort of multiple viewings, and we commonly build a benchmark around second viewing and sometimes third. But we go to pains to, when we're working with our clients, to say, hey, look, please realise and appreciate that on average, that ad, no matter how good or bad it is, will lose its impact of about 10 to 12% on second viewing. So basically, the first and the only time, it's a bit like hearing a great joke. Yep. It's great the first time, but get the hell out of the room and don't tell it again. You know, and that's what creativity is as well. You know, and we've got to respect that chemistry. And if we do, then we're all of a sudden talking about the being empowered to buy impact and exposure, but graduating the message in sync with that is how you get that balance between experience and exposure right. So the fact is that every exposure will probably fall by about an average of 10%, which means we've got to be thinking about how the creativity can kind of keep up with the exposures. And look, we've seen plenty of times where ads have been optimised and have had a fraction of the media spend and sort of reach and frequency, and have delivered stunning results. So, creativity says a lot. But being aware of the frequency issue is just so important. And when we spoke earlier, Pippa, I did get the impression you were more of a MasterChef fan than a Bachelor fan.
I prefer MasterChef, but I do enjoy The Bachelor as well.
Broad views. But like, how many times when you're watching these shows would you like to see an ad?
I mean, ideally, not many at all. And even if it's a good ad, you still don't want to see it again. And I think, the frequency capping is a big issue, but a lot of that comes down to technology. If it's streaming on demand, there's tech issues. Then there's obviously the agencies and the clients, what they agree, what they feel is an appropriate capping is not necessarily what maybe the consumer would agree with. So I think there is definitely a lot of issues around that, and until we can sort that out, and I think that's going to rumble on for a long time, taking control of this by changing the creative is only going to improve the environment.
Absolutely. And apart from what Pippa mentioned, Ed, it does feel like there's even more we could do to make this all work better.
Yeah, absolutely there is. I mean, what we try and do is create actionable audience segments based on people that have come to our website with the first click on the first ad that they've seen, and then create segments that we can send into our DSP to serve relevant, personalised ads to people. But the problem we have is doing this at scale is a massive problem because we don't have the resources to achieve it. We have workflow issues, and it can just take a long time. So creating, as we saw in the presentation earlier, the 800 or so different variations or whatever, it's obviously very, very difficult. So we'd love to get to the point where we can do hyper-personalisation at scale. That's, I guess, the holy grail.
I mean, if we could do that, would these ads be more effective, Peter? Would neuroscience back that up?
For sure. Like, I think that's the big challenge. Like, it's we're dealing with I guess that struggle between the old world of it just takes time and money, and the new world has already arrived in terms of the power to buy exposure programmatically, quick, easy, And unfortunately that tussle means, and I think you're kind of hearing it from all of us in our own ways, is that, we get pounded with the same ad 6 times before something new happens, which is so unfortunate. Probably the only thing to add on the frequency debate is, which is a horror story, and that is that at a certain point, the ads actually start to decrease sales. And so there's just if that's not an incentive to think about a better way, or empower yourself to do something smarter and to graduate that message ever so slightly. I think that's the point too. Is that only subtle differences can actually mean a world to the consumer. It just says I've actually thought about the experience a little more. So small things make a big difference out there.
Yeah, absolutely. I guess we're sort of touching on this a bit, Shani, but certainly Justin in his presentation talked about some of the world of pain that some of these things can bring to creatives like yourself. Like, if we could deliver on this grand vision, would it remove some of the pain from your working life?
Absolutely. There's nothing more disheartening to finally getting the final approval on the big graphic, ready to go to air. Yes, tick, tick, tick. A million people have ticked it off. Oh, I'll see you later. Oh no, here's your list of 40 different versions you now have to sit there and render. No. It would be amazing if someone else who is better at spelling than me could go through and personalise that one creative.
Yep.
But please don't give them any creative input because that really scares me. There's some crazy ideas from the producers out there that I'm not on board with.
That's great. And I guess, Pippa, coming back to you, if the only ads you were seeing during MasterChef were, great, relevant ads trying to get you to visit South Australia again, or ads that suit The Bachelor, would that be a better experience? Could it make advertising great?
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, the more personalised the ad is, the better experience it is going to be for you. I think there's a lot of talk about that, and it just, I guess it needs to sink in and people actually need to act on it. And I think collectively, there's, from agencies to marketers to creatives, everyone kind of needs to move that forward.
Awesome. Now, are you ready, guys? This is for the first time in Australia. I want to show you how we are making advertising great through our newly launched solution, Advertising Cloud Creative. And to do that, we are joined by Hannah Carse, an Advertising Cloud expert, to take us through this demonstration. We're going to hear from our panel live exactly what they think as they see that. Thanks for joining us, Hannah.
Thank you, Matt. Good to be here. As Phil mentioned earlier, you may have seen this yesterday when Carla Cook presented it on main stage and introduced us to the Advertising Cloud Creative, a platform that allows marketers to modify ads on the fly, streamline collaboration with their design teams so that they can focus on creating amazing customer experiences rather than spending their time tweaking ad copy. We're going to hear from the panel today, so let's jump in and find out. Here we have our experience tree, which is essentially a design tree that allows me to build personalised ad messages across multiple target audiences. Thank you to Samsung for allowing us to use their brand for this demonstration. As you can see, I have 2 ads live, and I want to create 2 more ads to promote the new phone features for the Samsung Galaxy S9. Let's start with targeting. So Advertising Cloud Creative is integrated with Audience Manager and Analytics, which means that I can use my very own custom audiences. Other options available are location, date range, and time of day. I first want to create a retargeting strategy. So I'm going to use my very own analytics segments to reach anyone who has landed on the S9 landing page. My second one is going to be a bit more broad. We're going to do a prospecting strategy. And so I'm going to target anyone between the ages of 18 to 45. So just like that, I've created 2 very different targeting strategies.
Wow, look at that. Peter, what do you think would be the impact on the emotional engagement we had with an ad if we can really target the right audience and give them different creative?
Yeah, that's interesting. Well, I think I remember the Galaxy S9 ad on air. I think we may have even done it for Samsung or Channel 7. It featured in the Com Games, and I remember there was a few we actually segmented that ad as well, and we found that how that peak moment in the Tide ad was the muscle guy.
Yep.
Subject to your age and demo, there were different iconic triggers. There were different peaks, so you could actually absolutely tune the creative along the same lines and actually make it relevant, subject to whether they've been exposed to it before or not, and age demo, that type of thing as well. So yeah, and that would always make it more relevant.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Peter liked that, Hannah. What else have we got?
Yeah, I agree. So let's show you now how to build out a story based on the target audiences that you have. So my design team has built and pushed through direct from Creative Cloud here into my asset library. I can simply drag and drop the creative I would like to use, and it will automatically detect what sizes are available to me. If I wanted to create a sequential story, I simply click here, and I can choose an additional creative. We heard from the panel how important it is to frequency cap, so I'm just going to set this to 3. And now I've just shown you how to create a sequential story across this targeted audience, and I've added a frequency cap so that we don't overexpose our customers to our brand's message.
Oh, fantastic. Frequency caps, that's what it's about. I also, that sequential story theme that Hannah brought up, Shani, how important is it for you as a creative to tell a story to consumers?
I think we're in a very exciting new realm of advertising with the rise of social media, social influencers. It's all about selling a lifestyle and buzzword experience. I'm happy to sit on my phone all day looking at pictures that I enjoy looking at that are targeted to me. It's a picture of someone on the beach, it's a sausage dog wearing a hat, just scrolling along, and then bam! Do you want to buy the flight there? Do you want to buy that hat? Yes and yes. Add to my hat collection for my dogs, fine. But they've already planted the seed and it's been organic, and I don't feel like I've sat there scrolling through ads. But then I'm like, I'm in love with what I've bought and I'm happy with that.
Yeah. Shani, like that one. Hannah, you're on a roll here, I think.
Thanks, Shani. So we're going to take personalisation now to the next level. So for my second target audience, I'm going to add in an additional layer. I'm going to add in some geo-targeting, and I'm going to put in Sydney. I'm going to add in Melbourne, and I'm going to add in Perth. And as you'll see, this is going to expand out my audience tree. Now, to associate creative to these new audiences, it's just as simple as copying and pasting direct into the UI. Now, usually at this point, if I wanted to make any changes to my ad copy or change the background image, I would have to go back to my design team.
Yeah.
I'd be ignoring your call.
It brings something to mind, Ed. When we were talking yesterday, you said one of the most challenging things for you guys to deal with at SATC is when you get surprised by an airline flash sale to Adelaide. Can you tell us what happens when that goes down?
Absolutely. So, if we've got a 2 or 3 week lead time, it's fantastic because we can plan it out and get the creative done in advance and then brief the agency, get it all loaded up, ad gets approved, it's great. Sometimes though, we might get a few hours notice. It might be a Friday morning and it's a Friday frenzy ad sale, and we've just got no chance with the current setup to be able to do that.
Yeah.
So even if we tried to cut out all of the other aspects. So if we had an always-on generic flights ad that was live, and all we had to do was swap out the creative, we'd still have to go over to the likes of Shani and say, drop everything, drop a price point into this existing ad that we've got, give it to us, we'll then send it to the agency will then upload it into AdCloud, we wait till it gets approved, and we might have wasted half of the day, and it's a real challenge for us. So if we could do something like this and quickly swap out content to just with a live ad go now flights to Adelaide with $99, that'd be a game changer.
All right, Hannah, let's go 4 for 4 here.
All right, well, Ed, that process sounds quite complex, so let me just show you how easy it is. If I want to make any edits to my creative, I simply click into here and I can change a number of attributes. I can add in a new headline, so because we're on theme, make advertising great.
All right.
We're going to change the background image, again direct from the Creative Cloud library. Going to click in here. We're in Sydney, we'll choose the Harbour Bridge, very relevant. And in just a couple of seconds, I've been able to personalise this creative.
It's awesome. So, Pippa, coming back to your professional life as editor of AdNews, how do you think the audience will feel when they come to AdNews and they see a personalised ad on your website?
Wow. Ultimately, you feel more looked after. I think you feel like, the brand actually cares more about me. They're not just smashing me with crappy ads that all look exactly the same from website to website. So, I think ultimately it's that feeling and how you feel I guess more looked after.
All right. Well,
thanks, Pippa. So I've just now shown you how to create 4 different ads across 4 different target audiences, but there's just one thing I want to show you before I go. So when the ads are live, we can then start to pull reports and make optimizations. Adobe is built on a foundation of analytics, and we've brought the power of this data here into the AdCloud Creative as well. You can see here I have a detailed analysis down to the ad copy level in a transparent and organised UI. How great is that?
Well, that's fantastic. I know all of us up here certainly love that, and hopefully all of you and our Adobe Advertising Cloud Creative Live audience loved it as well. Just before we wrap, are we able to get one final observation or prediction from each of our panellists about how the space is going to change in the future around advertising creative? Ed, why don't we start with you? Come around the panel.
I think people hate irrelevant ads. People hate that we've seen with the rise of ad blockers and things like that. But relevant ads that are relevant to your interests, people don't mind them. If you're in the market for something and you see an ad for something you're in the market for, that's not offensive. What's offensive is a brand just smashing you with content that you're not interested in, and you've displayed that you're not interested in by ignoring that ad.
Right.
If you can get to a stage where there is that personalisation at scale, then I think advertising will be great again.
Yeah, fantastic. Shani?
I'm just really excited that Adobe is taking an initiative to give out products and work on products that will mean designers can get back to just designing. Please, no more changing the text on everything.
Yeah, that's it. No doubt that's why you got into this space, right? Yeah. Awesome. Pippa?
I think with the lack of the maybe progress on the frequency capping or waiting for the technology to catch up or universal standard, then we need to take matters into our own hand before we, I guess, kind of piss off any more consumers with crappy ads. And as you mentioned, the rise of ad blocking. And I think, that's my prediction. I think we just have to take it in our own hands and just start working better on that creative, to improve things.
Great. And Peter? What's your thought?
Well, okay, great ads, like the moral of the story, great ads are always committed to memory very, very strongly. Great ads are also very, very disarming. And I think what we've talked about today is how a consumer instantly puts barriers up when they become annoyed. But great ads will actually be invisible because the consumer won't even realise, just like Shani's, that the hat on the dog moment type of thing. It just feels right, and that's the chemistry we want. So it actually feels like. So don't go asking consumers about that experience because it's invisible. Yep. That's what a great ad is.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, look, guys, that's a wrap. We want to call on all of you to join us in the revolution. Hopefully you're with us. Let's all band together with the advertising cloud and make advertising great. All right, thank you, and enjoy the rest of the conference.